of the day. When you get an opportunity in this game, you make a play. The playmakers on three. 1, 2, 3.
Touchdown, Kansas City! The Chiefs are right in the thick of it, baby!
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom, to this edition of Defending the Kingdom. Mitch Holthus with you, voice of the Chiefs, along with senior team reporter Matt McMullen. The world is full of acronyms, is it not? Particularly if you're in the military world, they just use acronyms all the time. But even Defending the Kingdom is DTK now, right?
Yeah.
We've made Defending the Kingdom an acronym. So this show will focus around the acronym that we're creating, DIFR, which we're going to make it Defensive Interceptions and Fumble Recoveries. So we'll get into that in a second. But before we do and get ready for the San Francisco 49er game, the last game I should say before the bye, we're going to go to the top 10, let's say, the top 10 trips around the world with Matt.
Yeah, let's do it. So we have people from all over the world, once again, listening to DTK. We have some really good ones this week, as always. So we have David in Quebec. He's originally from Atchison, Kansas, but now in Quebec. So pretty cool. Can go say hi to LDT up there, perhaps.
Yeah.
We have Vance in Franklin, Tennessee, the hometown of my mom. Go Vols. Big weekend for the Vols.
Terrific place, very historic place, Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah. He's originally from Overland Park, but now out there in Franklin, Tennessee.
Okay.
We have William in Springfield, Missouri. He claimed it as Chiefs Kingdom South. You know, I've never been there before.
Springfield?
Ellie wants to go.
Chiefs Kingdom Bastion.
Yeah.
That is a citadel of Chiefs Kingdom-ness. It's really interesting. Springfield, Missouri is a huge Cardinals town. They have the AA affiliate of the Cardinals. Great baseball area. When you look at the players that have come out of there, and Missouri State University has a great baseball program.
Go Bears.
It is a Chiefs Kingdom bastion. They are as crazy about the Chiefs as any place in kingdomness. So, yes, Springfield, Missouri is huge.
Yeah, we've been looking for like a day trip, and Ellie, my wife, has been saying she wants to go to Springfield. So
Perfect.
we should check it out.
Go for it. Great aquarium there.
Go say hi to William. We have a listener in Norway. We have Mark.
Not Norway, Kansas.
No, Norway,
Okay.
the Norway.
The Norway.
Yes,
okay.
Across the pond.
There is a Norway, Kansas, by the way.
We have Mark in Leominster, Massachusetts, the hometown of Noah Gray.
Yeah, I was going to say Leominster.
Yeah.
That's Noah Gray.
Yeah, and we've got Mark out there, too,
Do
defending
they have
the
the
kingdom.
Noah Gray Festival every year, I wonder?
You'll have to ask Mark.
We should have a Noah Gray Festival. Parade, he's the Grand Marshal. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. We have a listener in Arcata, California, studying forestry at Cal Poly Humboldt. Pretty cool.
Okay.
Paul in Tonganoxie, Kansas.
Chieftains.
Eric in New Orleans. He was born and raised in Kansas City, but he's been defending the kingdom from Boston and New Orleans over the past 4 years. We also have Matt in Massachusetts, so two people from New England this time around. He claimed it as Chiefs Kingdom Northeast. And then finally, Eric in Sioux City, Iowa.
Sioux City's another big Chiefs town. Plant your flag wherever you are defending the kingdom. Our kingdom defenders. Yes, we promise you a T-shirt. We're going to work on that.
We're going to do it.
We've got to do it now that we put it out there around the world. We need Kingdom Defender T-shirts. We also need to get some takeaways. That's where we're going to focus on this DIFR version of DTK. Think about all the acronyms now. Really, social media has made the world more acronymish. Think about all the acronyms we use, either in text messages or whether you're on Instagram or whether you're on Twitter or whatever you use. Just we have all this code now that we use. So this is DIFR, which is our code for the San Francisco game for defensive interceptions and fumble recoveries. The reason we say that, this is a Chiefs team now after 6 games, being 4-2, which is lacking with just 5 takeaways in 6 games, only 6 giveaways, so the Chiefs are just -1. Way different than it was a year ago, because I know where you're going with this, because a year ago at this time it was, ghastly in this category that is normally painted red and gold positively.
Yeah, the Chiefs couldn't get out of their own way last year in terms of turnovers. They're moving the ball offensively and then turning the ball over at the end of a lot of drives and not finishing those drives. The good news for the Chiefs at this point in the season, through 6 weeks, is they have the number 1 offense still in the NFL. They're scoring more than 29 points per game. They lead the NFL in touchdowns and first downs. The offense is really looking good so far, and there were a lot of questions coming in about the offense.
And doing it differently, right?
Yeah, finding different ways to do it.
Plays for 80 yards. There's some 40-yard plays in there, but a lot of 20-yarders, and a great in the red zone.
Yeah, it's been very efficient. It hasn't been perfect, and there's obviously room to grow, but it's been good. The defense has been good at times as well, but you just want to see them take the ball away a little bit more. And when you're playing San Francisco, that takeaway battle is really significant. So since Jimmy G took over in San Francisco as a starting quarterback in Week 3, the 49ers are 2-0 when they win or match the turnover battle. But when they lose that turnover battle, they really struggle. They're 0-2 in those games. Just last week against Atlanta, you might have seen the scoreboard and said Atlanta is beating the 49ers 28-14. It's because of turnovers. Atlanta forced 3 turnovers in that game. The Niners didn't force any, and they really were never in that game as it went on. So in this game for the Chiefs, great opportunity to force some turnovers. Don't turn the ball over offensively. Keep doing what you're doing offensively. Score some points. Force some turnovers on defense. And you can hopefully have a lot of success in this game and feel very good going into the bye.
And we know this is a cause and effect issue here, right? I mean, Dick Vermeil used to stand up and say if you're +3 in turnovers, you have a gazillion% chance of winning. Well, you just don't go to like Hy-Vee and get take. Can I have 5 turnovers, please?
That'd be great.
It'd be awesome if you could, because I'd go buy some right now. But let's get into let's take Chiefs history when you get into some of these numbers. If the Chiefs in their 63 years have a defensive score in any game, the Chiefs win 81% of the time. All right. A defensive touchdown, a defensive score, safeties are in there. Defensive touchdown, the Chiefs win 81% of the time. This is over 63 years of data. And under Andy Reid, if the Chiefs get a defensive score, they are 28-4. The Chiefs have 21 pick sixes with Andy Reid, including this year, the 99-yard pick sixer, the only interception the Chiefs have this year. And if you're going to make it count, go for 99 and a pick six by Jalen Watson. 12 scoop and scores. Think of Nick Bolton last year against the Denver Broncos. And 1 safety in 10 years. But still, the fact that if you get a single, winning the turnover battle, probably winning 4 out of 5 times. If you get a defensive score, it's even more so than that. And right now the Chiefs aren't getting either, other than the Jalen Watson pick six.
Yeah, well, for an opponent, when they're facing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, when they allow a defensive score, it makes things almost insurmountable because Patrick Mahomes is so tough to defend already. And if you give him a touchdown without him having to be on the field, it just makes things very tough for the opponent. And we saw that against the Chargers with that Jalen Watson interception. You're right, only 1 interception so far this year. It was a big one. It essentially won the game for the Chiefs way back in Week 2. But hopefully we see a few more moving forward. We know this defense is capable of it. They've been close so many times. And there's a lot to think about with this defense last week because they played pretty well against Buffalo. They were playing with their hair on fire for much of that game. And it's another instance, kind of like the Colts game, where they played well, and at the very end, the Bills drove down the field and won the game. So it leaves kind of a bad taste in your mouth, but I don't want to forget about how this defense played, also considering how undermanned they were and how hopefully we get a few of these guys back moving forward. Willie Gay Jr. didn't play in that game, obviously, on the suspension. Trent McDuffie didn't play. Rashad Fenton didn't play. Brian Cook didn't play. A lot of guys who are big-time contributors on this defense didn't play, and they still found a way to stop the Bills several times and to make some big plays in that game. And I think for guys like Joshua Williams, for example, at corner, that experience will benefit him down the road because we need all of these guys. And in December and January and hopefully February, when those guys are called upon, they have this experience against a very good Bills offense to hopefully call back on. So while the Chiefs lost the game, ultimately, there's some positives, I think, on defense.
And those names that you mentioned that were missing, all 4 of those guys are capable of explosive plays. We saw Cook do it in the preseason. You know one of those is coming. We know Fenton can do it. In fact, he made plays in the Super Bowl. Think of his play against New England that he made a big-time interception, of the play in Mexico City against the Chargers early in his career. We know and can see what Willie Gay can do. Think about his jump on the slant route last year against the Giants. Those are the kind of plays we're talking about here. These are explosive defensive plays that in this day and age of the National Football League can absolutely flip a game or flip a season. Now let's put this season into context of just where the league is. Let's take Philadelphia. They are – talk about being on fire. Andy Reid's old employer is 6-0, the only undefeated team left in the National Football League. Matt, the Eagles are plus 12 in the giveaway takeaway ratio after 6 weeks of the season. Plus 12. When you look at Minnesota, they're off to a good start. They are plus 4. The Buffalo Bills, just saw them, +3. Chiefs are -1. Mentioned only one interception. Only New Orleans, the New York Giants, that are doing okay with that interception, just one interception, are the only other teams here with the just one interception. And then overall fewest takeaways, it's Minnesota, Green Bay, the Raiders, and Detroit are the only teams that have fewer than the 5 Chiefs takeaways. But a year ago at this time, the Chiefs were just the opposite of that. They were almost double-digit minus and then turned it on, because you and I are both anticipating from here on that this defense could take off.
Yeah, they really could. I think they're ahead of schedule right now from where maybe we anticipated. And we've talked about this on lots of shows now. Steve Spagnuolo's defenses kind of tend to trend upwards as the season goes on. And particularly this year with so many new players in there, we knew that it had talent and potential, but it's just a question of when will it really take off. And we've seen it kind of be ahead of schedule, I think. Not perfect. Of course, there's areas for it to grow, but we've seen a lot of good things from this defense so far and the young players on this defense, and I think we'll see that continue here. You want to force some turnovers against San Francisco, and the biggest thing with the defense against this Jimmy G-led offense, he's going to have everything in front of you, so you can't miss tackles. You have to make sure you wrap up. One of my favorite narratives from this game is if you look at the 49ers this year, since Jimmy G took over in week 3, they are 28th in the NFL in terms of total yards at the catch. So where the ball is caught, they are 28th in the NFL, an average of 4.3 yards. But they are number 1 in the NFL in yards after the catch for an average of 8 yards. Deebo Samuel obviously plays a big role in that. He always turns short gains into big gains. He has the 8th most yards after the catch in the NFL this season. He is averaging 2.7 yards at the catch point. 2.7 yards. That's like a running back, right? But he's averaging 10 yards after the catch. He has 14 targets behind the line of scrimmage this year. That's 5th most in the NFL, behind only 4 running backs. So if you're thinking about how can the Chiefs create turnovers in this game, Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be chucking the ball deep down the field a whole lot. He might a little bit, but not a lot. If you're the Chiefs defense, everything will be in front of you. So try to punch that ball out. Try to make breaks on routes maybe if they're doing the same kind of thing schematically that we expect here. We're talking about the 49ers. And just know that if a player catches the ball behind the line of scrimmage, you have to wrap him up. You can't let Deebo Samuel catch the ball at the line of scrimmage and break off for 10 yards and a first down. That's how the 49ers beat you offensively. So that's the emphasis, I think, for the Chiefs defensively going into this game.
Yeah, and Deebo Samuel, stat-wise here, has 27 catches and 23 runs. Now, some of those are lateral passes that are legally a run. But the point is, with his 50 touches, sometimes he's getting them on handoffs, or he's getting them on jets or lateral plays. But whether he's getting him down the field or near the line of scrimmage, tackling him, easier said than done, is a premium in this game, because you're right. That's how they get big plays. The other one is they got their own little takeaway deal going on here. They have 2 pick sixes already this season. Emmanuel Mosley's on injured reserve, but he has one. We'll see if their outstanding second-year safety from USC is going to play. He's in concussion protocol. He had one last week. So how are the 49ers at 3-3? It's broken tackles, primarily from a guy like Deebo Samuel, although Ayuk now has entered this picture too. And he's very similar. And if you look at the San Francisco running backs, it's like they're all in the same realm. They're all 220, 225. They're kind of Pacheco types. There's 4 of them. But then you throw in Samuel, who's kind of that size. Then you throw in Ayuk. It's all about yaks and protecting the ball against the 49ers.
And we saw this even back in Super Bowl 54. What Kyle Shanahan is going to do, he's not really going to stretch you vertically. He's going to stretch you horizontally, make you move laterally, and he's banking on you to miss and to make a mistake. This Jimmy Garoppolo-led offense is banking on the defense making a mistake, and routinely defenses do make mistakes against what they do because they have some really great athletes who can make plays in space and who can break tackles. Deebo Samuel has the body of a running back. I mean, he is thick. So it's tough. You're right. It's easier said than done tackling him, but it really just has to be a major focus this week for the Chiefs defense.
It's interesting, too, to see Deebo Samuel's effect on the entire National Football League, because you and I, in getting ready for the 2022 draft, how many Deebo Samuel comps did we see? How many teams are going, I got to find Deebo Samuel. I got to find Deebo Samuel.
Traylon Burks, for example.
Absolutely. Perfect. Exhibit A. Going back, though, to the historical impact of, and again, this episode of Defending the Kingdom is DIFR, defensive interceptions, fumble recoveries, basically getting some takeaways. The Chiefs have just 5 so far. But if you look at the plus-minus history of Andy Reid's 10 years here, let me just go through them quickly. Remember the 9-0 start in 2013. It was fueled by being second in the giveaway takeaway that year at plus 18. Okay? I'm going to jump ahead past 14 because that's got its own story. In 2015, plus 14. In 2016, plus 16. In 2017, plus 15, plus 9, plus 8, plus 6, plus 4, minus 1. There's only 1 year the Chiefs did not make the playoffs under head coach Andy Reid. It was 2014. Oh, gosh, early injuries. Alex Smith got hurt late. The Chiefs were minus 3 in the giveaway takeaway. The only season in 10 that they were underwater in the category. And again, it's a chicken and an egg. It's a cause and effect. But now we've talked about some of the causes. And you and I anticipate the causes being there. It would be great to start this week because San Francisco, with all due respect to the 49ers, if they have one or two giveaways, it is almost lethal to them.
Plus 18 in 2013 is so ridiculous.
Think about that roster and that team. And that's a lovable team now as we look back.
Yeah. So I was a sophomore in college in 2013. Huge Chiefs fan. I was at Mizzou. And there's not a ton of – there are some, but Mizzou is very much like a St. Louis and Chicago school.
Oh, yeah.
So there's not a ton of Chiefs fans. I didn't have a lot of Chiefs fans that were my friends in college. I was like the Chiefs fan. And everyone gave me such a hard time in 2012 when I was watching every single game. I stuck with them, wore my jersey every single Sunday, and we lost 14 games. In 2013, I was the most proud Chiefs fan on planet Earth, walking around campus every day with my Chiefs clothes on. And plus 18 certainly helped with that.
What was it like when it was 9-0, that glorious end of October, about end of October, early November? Because I remember the leaves are turning, and I go, God, we're 9-0.
Yeah.
How are we 9-0? Andy Reid is like a miracle worker.
Well, I would text my friends who were like Cowboys fans or Bears fans. I would be like, if you take all of your wins and all of your losses and combine them, that's how many wins the Chiefs have. It was
You're
awesome.
That guy. You got a little snarky.
I sure did. I deserved to.
Yeah, a little shady Matt right there on the Mizzou campus back in the day of grinding as an undergrad. But again, you're seeing the effect here, and if you don't get the takeaways, how there's a lot to overcome. But truthfully, I think we expect it. And I think, too, and I'm going to ask Spags about this, and if you listen on the Chiefs Radio Network on game day during pregame this Sunday, I'll have a sit down with Spags. Just get a one-on-one little fireside chat, and those are great chats with him. But one of the things I'm going to ask him is, don't the takeaways come as you get more comfortable with the scheme? Because we talk about the rookies here. 4 rookies played prominently on defense in that game Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. And Trent McDuffie's coming, could be a 5th. And Najee Johnson played on special teams. But it's even the guys like Justin Reed, okay? The more you play in this system and getting more familiar with it, it seems like that's also when the takeaways come, because now I know not only where I'm supposed to be, I know where you're supposed to be. And can I go for a takeaway at this time knowing you're behind me, or I don't want to just risk it all and give up a touchdown? So to me, knowledge of the scheme helps as much as getting personnel back and being more aggressive.
Yeah, it's about playing fast, and knowledge of the scheme and experience allows you to play fast. So many times in any sport, your enemy is thinking too much. Right? You don't want to think too much, because if you're thinking too much, all of a sudden you lose a half step, a half second, and the play is over and you didn't make the play. It reminds me of some things Justin Reed said during training camp. He made an interception in the corner of the end zone during 7-on-7 or something early in camp. And afterward, he went to the podium and was asked about it. And he could say so many things like, oh, that's what I do. That's why they brought me here. He was like, that was just playing the scheme and the defense. That's where the defense was designed to have me be, and I made a play because the defense was correct. And if you just know the scheme and you can play fast, the turnovers are going to come. And we've kind of said it already, but this San Francisco offense will turn the ball over. Since Garoppolo took over, they've turned it over 7 times. That's 3rd most in the NFL. And if you can get pressure on Garoppolo, he has struggled mightily this season. He has 3 interceptions and 5 sacks when he hangs on to the ball for longer than 2.5 seconds this year. So if you can get him under pressure and out of the scheme a little bit, all of a sudden you have a lot of opportunities to create turnovers. The problem with the San Francisco offense is when they are in rhythm and when they're getting chunk plays on first down, when they're getting their screen game working and their running game working, Garoppolo is tough to beat because he's in a rhythm. They're not asking him to throw the ball 40 yards down the field. But if you can get them in a long second down, a long third down, you're forcing them to throw the ball down the field, and that screen game and the running game isn't working as effectively. All of a sudden, it creates a lot of opportunities for mistakes and hopefully for the Chiefs defense, some takeaways.
Yeah, and I've talked about this, but this is also part of my thesis this week is in the Pat Mahomes era, this is the most important year for first down efficiency. It is San Francisco's way of life ever since Kyle Shanahan took over. So first down, I said first things first this week. You can chart first down efficiency. As we close out this DIFR edition of DTK, I got another one. Just bring it up here. NTED. This is National Tight End Day game?
Yeah.
So it was invented by George Kittle? He invented the day? Who invented the day?
I think it was George Kittle, but you know what's cool about it? It's obviously Kittle and Kelsey, but do you know who's on the call for the broadcast? It's Greg Olsen.
Perfect.
Greg Olsen will be in the booth calling the game on TV. So obviously everyone should turn down the TV and listen to you. But Greg Olsen will be on television calling the Kelsey and Kittle game. It's kind of funny. I could argue that Olsen is probably a top, 10, 15 tight end in the last 40 years. I mean, a lot of the records that Kelsey has broken were Greg Olsen's records. Yeah.
I'm going to get mad, though, if we see a bunch of tight end comparisons to Kelsey, and he's not listed at the top of every list. Come on, people. National Tight End Day might as well, be President's Day or something. I mean, are the banks closed on Monday for National Tight End Day?
Most likely, yeah.
Okay, probably so. Probably should be, at least in the Chiefs' kingdom.
Yeah, they sure will be.
They should be. All right, here we go. Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers on NTED. But a bigger story here is DIFR.
10, 5, touchdown! Lock it down! And the celebration begins at Arrowhead.